Before I started this look, I just had a little bit of Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in shade 7. It is very dark for daytime, but I know I'm going to be taking pictures of this look, so I can go a little bit darker. What I'm using is the P. Louise base. It's in shade 1. This is harder to work with than shade 2. Shade 2 would be my favourite, but because I want an intense kind of underbrow highlight, shade 1 is definitely my favourite for this kind of a look. I'm just using it's a fuchsia flathead brush. You can use a 242 or a 252 from MAC or a 144 from Zoeva. And I'm just pressing it in, very little pressure. If you see the marks of the brush, you're putting on too much pressure. You want to change the consistency from kind of shiny to matte. So you keep pat, 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 pat until it kind of goes matte, and then you know that you're ready to go with your shadow.
Other eye. Pat, 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 pat. Make sure you don't leave any lines. If you don't pat that line out, it's going to be so harsh at the end of your look that you're going to see the difference between the foundation and the P. Louise base, especially because this is number 1. It's going to be extra light and the line is going to be impossible. I'm just grabbing a crease brush because this is probably the best way of getting rid of any lines. It mattifies. A fluffy crease brush. This could take about blend in 5 minutes per eye, just to make sure that you have no lines or anything around the edges. I'm not really paying much attention to underneath the eye because I know I'm going to spill all glitter on that anyway, so I'm going to conceal that after. Now I'm using my Naked Smokey palette and I'm going in with Password. I'm using a crease brush from the Fuchsia kit, and again you can see every time I take the brush away I'm going back for more product. I'm just dipping into your grey, your Password grey, and I'm just patting it on first because the base is there. I don't want to window wipe it. I don't want to window wipe anyway, but if I window wipe, I'm going to move the base and you're going to be left with that kind of hole and mark in your indentation in your eye. So again, after I pat, pat, pat with the shadow, I'm just starting to do tiny little circles. So no window wiping, just little circles. I really can't see what I'm doing, to be honest, because that ring light is very, very bright. So again, just light circles with your crease brush. Getting more product again, keeping it low. And what I keep it low first because if I went in, I'd have too much black on top. So keep the product low, and then whatever's left on your brush, you can just blend out. More product and just circle, circle, circle. Just take your time with this and don't be afraid to add more product. Now I'm using the light cream shade, and this is just to make sure there's no line between the base and the Password grey. So you can see I'm going extra slow here. I think when people try to get rid of lines, they actually put more pressure on when you want less pressure to get rid of the line. So it's just a cream eyeshadow, and I'm just using tiny pressure, smaller little crease brush. I'm just sitting on the line and just teasing it out. Now I'm using a Fuchsia Onyx black pencil, and I'm just colouring in my lid. I'm not being fussy here. I'm going back and forth though, so I don't have any white lines. But I'm not being too fussy because I'm going to go over with Inglot gel liner in a second. But I'm just going to keep going back and forth until I get to the crease. Don't bring the gel or the pencil up over the crease. Just feel for the ball of the eye, and that's when you know where to stop. So I'm just colouring in, slowly does it. You don't want to rush this part, especially when you're trying to just see. Oh, keep opening your eye and keep, checking to make sure you're not gone up on the crease. Just a black pencil, cold pencil is probably the best one because it's easier on the eyelid. It's not going to hurt you. So again, just tease it in and try and get your shape. Go slowly as you get into the crease so you can really just get that nice round curvature. You can use any black pencil you want, just make sure you sharpen it. It's not going to work if it's blunt. And grab. Now I'm using Inglot 77 gel liner, and I'm just tapping it over the pencil. This is just going to make it that when you do take pictures, you don't see white marks in between. Now look, you can do this first. You could do the pencil and then do the Inglot gel liner and then do the grey to blend it in, because you're going to end up blending anyway. So it's totally up to yourself which you prefer to do it. I'm going to grab a smaller kind of tapered brush. I'm going to go back in with my grey Password colour, and I'm just going to blend it in, but super slow. If you go too hard, you're just going to make more work for yourself. So just nice and slow, blend and blend, just a little at a time. Just so you're trying to just emulsify that line, really. Again, don't put too much product on, just a little bit at a time. This does take a few minutes, so to be honest, it's probably better to do this first and then do the grey. It doesn't take as long. Again, get right in, making sure you have no line left at the end. Now I'm going to grab my cream again. No, I'm not. I'm grabbing my password. And I'm just going back over, which is your grey colour. Same with the crease brush again. Then I'm grabbing my cream. Just trying to make sure that I don't have that line again. Again, like your sandwich stages in the Peel Louise tutorial that you saw. You're just going to blend it out. Keep on going back to the last brush that you used. Now I'm just, because my kind of gel liner's gone a bit dry now, I'm just putting a little bit more on, so it's going to stick to my Galaxy pigment from Fuchsia. So this is a Galaxy pigment from Fuchsia. It's a gorgeous kind of glittery black, and just pop it on with a flat brush onto your lid, and this just gives you a smoky look. You're going to get fallout, so don't worry about that. Just get more product and just tap it on. Don't rub it or window wipe or anything, just pat and tap. You can see the fallout falling down on my nose. Don't worry, you're going to clean it up after, but this is why you need to do your eyes first when you're doing these looks, because otherwise you're just going to ruin all your foundation. So again, just tap it on, depending on what you want on. Don't put too much on. The more you put on, the more it's going to fall down. I'm just going to get a cotton circle. I'm just going to clean underneath my eye now. Just making sure there's no glitter left. You could use masking tape as well and just take the stickiness off it, and it helps you grab the glitter a little bit better if you're in a hurry. I'm going to grab my gel eyeliner and get my pointed brush from Fuchsia, and I'm just going to put it on the waterline. Make sure you're pulling down your skin just to get right into the waterline without poking yourself in the eye. You're going to do your 2 waterlines, and again, depending on how watery your eye, you might have to go back over this, but let it dry. Now you're going to do the top. Again, you don't have to worry about this too much because your lid is already kind of black, but it just makes sure there's no white lines, no gaps. Do your top waterline as well. This is hard to do. That's the way you can do, I'm doing now on yourself. But if you're doing it on a client, you can actually close their eye and grab their skin and get them to look down. And then you can just do their top waterline like so. It is not the nicest thing to do, but you want to make sure, see there where you're grabbing the skin, get them to look up, sorry. And you're going to just grab it and go underneath. Now I'm getting my password and I'm going underneath. Again, I'm not going to be too fussy here at all. I'm just trying to make sure I'm blending it before the gel liner dries in, because then it won't be movable. So I just don't want that to be really hard. So I'm just blending that in. But I'm not worrying about this because I'm going to have to conceal under my eye now. So don't worry too much underneath the eyes just yet. As I say, I'm just trying to make sure that the liner is blended. I'm going to get my spiked pencil from MAC. And I'm just going to run a little bit of this through the brow, just following the natural brow lines. Look, if your model or your client doesn't have their eyebrows done, it is going to make your life harder. So just make sure, if they're ringing for your appointment, that you're telling them to do their eyebrows or take any stragglers away, or you could do them for them or whatever if you know you're doing their makeup. So again, go with the natural shape, go with the way the hair grows. And this spiked pencil is great because you can use the other side as a brush to comb it out, or you can use a spoolie if you're doing a client. This is my MAC pencil, so I can use that side. Now you're going to grab your Sosumi contour sticks. This is in light concealer, and I'm going to just put this underneath the eye, anywhere where I want to draw the features forward. So concealer should always be lighter than your foundation.
It's a creamy consistency. Some people don't like that. They might find it a bit thick, a bit heavy. I like it for kind of glam looks. It's great, really good coverage. It's nice and creamy, so it's easy move as well with a beauty blender. I'm just getting my real beauty blender from beautyblender.com. They're so soft. You can get them in Makeup Forever up in Dublin. I think you can get them online anywhere as well. Just make sure they're the real beauty blender. Some of the cheap ones do take away a lot of your product. And don't blend it in. Always dampen it first, and it just glides on. Once you use a beauty blender, it's very hard to go back to a brush because they are addictive. They're just not very hygienic. So now I'm going back in with the grey again underneath, and I'm just using a tapered brush, going back and forth, nice little light pressure, as if I'm joining the hairs together and just kind of wiggling in the middle. Then I'm going to grab my contour, which is in shade Cool. Suck in your cheeks and get underneath the jawbone. I like to come from kind of my lock. It just gives you a little bit more structure and definition. Put a little bit on the forehead. I do because I have a bigger forehead. You don't have to if you don't have a bigger forehead. Underneath the lip and a little bit. I don't even try to contour the nose because it just doesn't work for me. So I'm going to use my beauty blender and I'm going to bang that in. If you only have one beauty blender, always make sure you do your highlighter first, because putting the contour on then going back to highlight is hard because you could make it mucky looking. You want your highlighter zones to be really, really highlighted because they're going to draw the features forward. So this is the darker colour, should be 2 shades darker. Again, some people don't like using cream consistency products, but I do. Again, I wouldn't do it all the time. I would always end up going back over with a little bit of foundation anyways, which I'm going to grab now in a second. But I'm just working in the contour with your beauty blender. Now I'm just going to contour the forehead and the chin. So now I'm just grabbing my Real Techniques brush and I'm just kind of patting. I don't want to put the beauty blender in where my concealer was, so I'm just trying to make it seamless between the two. I don't want a line between the two, so I'm just patting some Luminous Silk, the Giorgio Armani number 7, and again just staying away from the highlighter zones but just trying to neutralize them in together. This could take a minute just to pat. Make sure you're setting it with your pat motions. Then I'm grabbing my Makeup Forever in shade 1. When I did the course with Mario, he recommended shade 2 that he uses, but I went down 1 to really give a nice highlight, nearly like a highlighter. Some people don't like a highlighter, but this is a really natural form of a highlighter. If you didn't want to put any powder highlight on, you could just use this cream. I'm using another beauty blender just to bang that underneath the eye to really give a gloss and glow to the eye. Nothing too shiny though, it's just really, really highlighted. Again, drawing the features forward again, as we always say. Just bang that in, any of the areas that you want to draw out. Top of the lip, underneath the eyes, the chin, and a little bit up between the eyebrows. Now I'm just grabbing my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and I'm just going to set underneath the eyes, the chin, the T-zone really. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit on the cheeks too because I want to use some powder contour. So I don't like to go over it if there's still creamy kind of feel on the skin. Sometimes it can go dirty looking, so I'll just pat that powder everywhere just to set all that cream I've already done. Now I can't go back with any cream product because I've set it. So make sure you never put cream over powder. All my creams were done before I set it. Now I'm just going in with my MAC. This is Dark Tan. So this is your contour colour. Should always be 2 shades darker. It should always be matte. There should be no glitter or shimmer in it. It's going to give structure, definition and shape. Again, I'm doing small little circles starting underneath my lock. Don't come the whole way down. When you get to the end of the jawbone, kind of flick it up so you don't come down too near your lip. It can look a bit clownish and it can take over your whole face. A little bit underneath the chin, a little bit on the forehead. I don't even bother trying to do the nose because it just never works for me. And again, just make sure that it is 2 shades darker than your foundation, just to give you that contour, that definition that you need. Small little circles again right underneath. The whole purpose here is to create a hollow. So again, that's what your iTech question would be. What is the purpose of contour? And it's to create a hollow. A little bit on the neck. Bronze up the neck as well if you want. Then I'm going to grab my smaller crease and I'm going to use this little bit of the dark tan just underneath the lip, again just to give it a little bit more of a hollow. I'm going to put a little bit in between the eyebrows. Again, structure, definition and shape. You'll be so sick of them words, but it's what contour does. It really, really is, but just use very little. See the way I'm using the other side of the brush? It's a blank canvas brush. Just to use the other side as a clean side, just to blend it out so there's no line. You can see me here, I was going to use the gold to highlight, and then I'm like, no, I want grey. I'm wearing my grey wig. I want a grey tone, so I don't want any gold. So I'm using this Lightscape 8 from MAC highlighter. Kind of more of a silvery highlight, and just popping a small little crease brush, popping a little bit more of that on. And again, if you have any lines, just use your jumbo puffer to blend them out. And I'm just putting a little bit more MAC Dark Tan because I didn't use any blusher because I don't want it to clash with the lips. I'm pairing my pencil for hygiene reasons, and I'm using Scarlet from Fuchsia. Again, I'm going back and forth on the lip so there's no cracks. And get a run at it and then come around the Cupid's bow. Don't stop there and join the other Cupid's bow. Go to the other side and get a run of it. Think of a plane taking off. So you're going back and forth, and then you're sweeping it around the Cupid's bow. Then you can colour in the whole lip and do the same on the bottom. Join the hairs together. Join the lines together, back and forth, just so you don't have any cracks when you smile. I'm going to pop a little bit of MAC Diva lipstick. I can use it straight from the stick because it's my own stick. If it was in my kit, you would have to scrub it onto your palette for hygiene reasons. And that's it. Put your wig on, take your pics, finish with spray if you want to. Any questions, just give me a buzz or email me, Instagram me, whatever you need to do.